So today we're going to be focusing on tackling the leather aspects of a car. In this one we've got leather seats, so we're going to be looking at those, and also the steering wheel. As leather is a natural product, it's very porous and it can pick up grime and dirt from your clothes, your hands, etc. It builds up a kind of shiny outer layer which just doesn't look great, and we're going to be looking at how to tackle that, get your seats looking extra clean and a nice matte finish. We're going to start with the steering wheel. So as I said, we're going to be starting with the steering wheel and looking round the whole wheel. We've got areas where it's particularly shiny, there's areas where there's obvious signs of dirt building up, and we've also got a few areas where there's a bit of wear, so we need to be aware of that and not go too aggressive. Make sure you get all angles. You want to change where you're cleaning from so you get the behind as well as the front. But both the seats and the steering wheel, as they are both leather, the process is quite similar. For the steering wheel, we're choosing quite a stiff bristle brush, and we'll get inside the little pores of the steering wheel, little dimples, and it should be aggressive enough to lift the majority of the dirt, but it won't be too aggressive to damage the top of it further. So I'm going to start off spraying into the brush. We're just going to use an APC. Get it all nice and saturated. Give the steering wheel a light covering as well. And we want to just gently agitate the steering wheel, making sure we work the product into the leather. So now that we've agitated the product into the steering wheel, we're going to get a nice clean cloth that's slightly damp and just wipe it down. As you can see, we've lost any kind of shine to it. It looks nice, new and matte. And we've even improved the area where it was a slight bit of wear to it. If it was dirtier, you just repeat the process until it looks clean. But as you can see, the cloth has picked up quite a bit of dirty nastiness. But that's pretty much it. Nice and simple for the steering wheel. Just make sure you don't be too aggressive with your brushing and use a lot of product. But yeah, nice, easy, quick transformation of your steering wheel, and it also feels a lot nicer in the hands as well. We're going to move on to the seats now. So now we've done the steering wheel looking brand new again, we're moving to the seats. We've got perfect example. We've got a range of different things to tackle. We've got a couple of stains here in the middle, parts that are very dull, parts that are very shiny, and we've got a bit of mud down here as well, and there's plenty of debris in between the creases. So we're going to tackle each step individually. First up, we want to get the seats as clean as possible and free of debris, so we're going to use the hoover. Make sure we press down to open up the seam so we can get rid of as much as we can before we move on to the next step. So I'm going to grab the hoover and do that. So we've just whizzed around with the hoover. Quite a lot of the debris is now gone. There's still some that is left in the seams, but we're going to tackle that now. Depending on how dirty the seats are, there are several different methods you can use. They're not too bad, and we're going to see what we can do. But going to grab our leather cleaner, spray it down. We've got a specific brush made for leather. We're going to work the product in, and then we're going to get a cloth, maybe a bit of steam to lift up some of the worst stains. And then we'll dry it all off and see what it looks like. So we're going to hit it with our leather cleaner product now, making sure we get coverage on the whole area of the seat, because if you don't, there'll be patches that look different to others. Now I'm going to work that product in, similar to the steering wheel, making sure I get in between all the seams with our leather brush. As I'm doing so, I can see the liquid changing colour, seeing that we are lifting up quite a bit of grime from the seat. You can even see back here the product is lifting up some kind of stain. I don't know, it looks a bit like coffee or something. So now that we've worked the product into the seat, we're going to wipe it dry, assess where we're at, and potentially use a bit of steam to lift up the worst stains. Pretty grim. So that actually seems to have done a very good job. If you compare the back where we haven't touched, it's a bit shiny. You can kind of see the dirt in the leather, whilst down here it's nice to touch, it's nice and smooth, kind of a matte finish to it, and it certainly doesn't look dirty anymore. But let's say you do have very, very dirty leather seats, you've spilt something horrendous on them. The next step would be to bring in some steam. You don't want to go too aggressive with this. You want to make sure you keep moving the steam machine so you don't burn through the leather, discolour it at all. And you can also put a cloth over the top and you just work it in. And the steam works because it flushes out all the dirt in there, and a bit of heat helps to get rid of it all. But there is one final step which we'll do now. I'll just go get the product. Gotten rid of all the protective coatings that were on the leather, if at all, so we're just going to add some more to keep the leather looking fresh and protect it in future. So I've got my Auto Glim leather care balm. As I said, we're just going to lightly work it in to the leather, and then we're going to buff it off, and it will leave a nice finish to the leather and help it keep it protected. So I've got a decent amount of product on my applicator pad, but you don't want to go too much as it can be quite hard to remove. You just want to gently just rub it into the surface, making sure you get an even spread, and really get in between the creases, because you will see a visible difference in the areas that aren't coated. So now that I've worked the product into the seat, we're going to let it adhere to the surface, let it get nice and deep in the leather, fill out the pores, and then we're going to buff it off using a nice plush towel. But as you can see, it looks nice and supple, very clean, and almost looks brand new really, although it is quite shiny at the moment. When we buff the product off, it will return to that nice matte, super clean finish that we're looking for. So we've waited about 5 minutes for the product to do its thing. We're going to now buff it off in circular motions, and I can tell already it looks absolutely stunning. Great results. You can almost see as I wipe the product off, it returns to the nice matte finish and really does look as it did when it came out the factory. I'm going to make sure you get in all the seams, as I said earlier. Anywhere that isn't covered, you'll be able to see the difference. So there we have it. We've got brand new looking seats. They've come out really, really well. Look like they did when they left the factory. This is a service we offer either as an optional extra if you choose the Works valet, or if you go for the full Works, we'll include it in the price. But if you have particularly dirty seats, do let us know and we'll be able to sort them out for you. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.